Welcome to another episode of The Performance Cafe. It's good to have you here. Today, I have a lovely topic for us. With everything that's going on, good and consistent performance is now more important than ever. But at the same time, because of the strain that lockdown is putting on families, when we think about a loss of support from the perspective of, helpers around the house, nannies for the children, schools being closed on and off and on and off again, it really is creating a very challenging environment, especially for parents that are trying to perform as they normally would, but when they actually don't have the normal regular at-home situation. And so I think one of the things that's flying by right now and that people aren't really paying attention to is that of giving feedback. Now, the problem is that there's no performance without feedback, because even when people are performing well, that needs to be reinforced so that they know that they're hitting the target. I've consulted to companies where the response is, oh, we don't get feedback because when we're in trouble, we will know. Well, that doesn't work that way, right? We need positive and negative feedback, not just negative feedback. In fact, research shows that for every single piece of constructive or negative feedback we get, we need 7 positives. Because what we need to do is we need to build up the trust in the relationship and understand from the feedback, where am I doing right, where am I doing right, where am I doing right? So that when someone says, you're doing this wrong, there's something to fall back on. A lot of people think, yes, that we've heard that research, but that's just because people don't know what they should be doing. Well, actually, it's because we are not expressing ourselves and our requirements clear enough. So if we keep on reinforcing what people are doing right, instead of focusing only ever on what they do wrong, then they go, okay, I've stepped out of line, let me step back into line. And that is really important right now. I think people are really concerned about giving feedback because our employees are under such pressure at home. But I also think there's just a general lack of keeping our employees accountable because we don't enjoy having the hard conversations. It's really tough. I think as a manager, there's enough to do and there's enough to keep you busy. And then having to have a challenging conversation with an employee can be a really cumbersome task and something that's one just tends to put off. Now, this is my next problem, because when someone does something wrong the first time, it's easy to go to them and say, yo, I saw that you did that wrong. You know what, let me help you by showing you the way we would need you to do it or what the appropriate course of action would be. And so from that perspective, it's a quick and easy little correction. It's not a difficult conversation at all. But if we're in a situation where we are forever in a pattern where I'll leave it for the next time, I'll wait till they get it right, really wrong, I'll see if they get this wrong as a pattern. By the time you have to broach it, it's become a cause of irritation for you. It's difficult to have it as a let me assist you in fixing this. It comes out as I now need to blast you because I'm really irritated by what's happening. Okay, that also shows a bit of immaturity in a management style in general. So how do we do it? How do we do this feedback thing in a way that makes sense for the company or the organization that's trying to teach someone, and on the other side, for the individual to actually accept that feedback and make the most of it? So firstly, as I said, if there's been positive feedback, then it's nice to go back and say, well, I said you did this and this and this, right? Okay, so the next logical step would be to do the following, right? So that's quite an easy one because it's just a little tweak in the way they were doing things. And if it is a very quick little discussion, then normally the person can absorb it just as, okay, so I've done that wrong, I just need to fix it, I'll do it better next time. But when the matter is a little bit more pressing, or when the mistake that was made was a bit more grave, I like to fall back on radical candor. And for those of you that don't know it, it is a book by an author called Kim Scott, and she tells in a very beautiful, vulnerable, open-hearted way about her path in management and how in an attempt to become this manager that doesn't hurt people, she became in essence, a pushover and didn't manage properly. Her concept, not mine. I think she's absolutely fabulous. And she tells the most amazing story about walking down the road one day and having her, I think it's a Labrador puppy. Now, anyone who knows Labrador puppies, they only grow up when they're about 14. They really are the kids of the doggy world. And this dog was rambunctious and was all over the place. And I think she said she got to the side of the road and the dog jumped into the road, then she pulls him back. Then he jumps into the road and she pulls him back. And in this toing and froing, a stranger walks up to her and he says, I can see you really love your dog, but if he does that again, he might die. Best you help him not do it again. And she says it was like such shock. And then she realized that's radical candor. Because the guy walked up to her, he saw that she was struggling with this. And then he acknowledged that in her struggle, she did care for the dog. She was trying to get the dog not to do it, but she just wasn't really following through on what's best on dealing with the situation. And then he told her exactly what the outcome is going to be in no uncertain terms. So radical candor is about showing someone you care and showing them where the feedback is coming from a perspective of support and care, and then providing direct communication. And please read her book. It is absolutely amazing. It's also available on Audible. And I really think that's the best way to do it. Because when we show people we care, when we show them that we actually are responding to the fact that they normally do things right, that, it is just out of wanting to help them that we are broaching the topic, I think then the direct feedback gets the appropriate airtime. Because you're providing the feedback because you want me to grow, but you have to give me the direct feedback. And it's quite interesting because in her book, she also goes on to study the other examples. And I don't want to go into too great detail. I want you to read the book. But she takes a look at what happens when we provide feedback and we don't care, right? That's quite a direct, harsh communication. What do we do when we do care and we don't give the feedback, right? That's just useless empathy. And so what I love about it is not only does she describe this beautiful model, but she also shows in not doing it that way, what are the other options? And actually, what are we doing? And what I really love about this is that radical candor is about the how-to of providing radical candor. But it also, I think, is lovely in holding up the mirror and saying, what do we do when we don't do it this way? What is the impact of that useless empathy? What is the impact of being too forceful, too direct, and just taking someone out because there was a mistake? So I didn't mean for that to happen, but it turned out into a little bit of a book review of radical candor. But I really would advise that you read the book and then apply the radical candor to employees right now. And start with the caring messages around, I can see you're trying. I can see that despite COVID, you are trying to keep up the standards and the work pace. And I can see that you are reaching out to clients. You are being a great brand ambassador. You are being a great brand ambassador for our company. But there's something that I need you to please help me with. And from there, give your feedback, but also ask them their input and how they think they can fix it and what their side of the story is, so that you can take this to the conclusion of constructive criticism and not just take someone out. So yet again, I can't believe our couple of minutes is over. These videos are becoming faster and faster to set up. It was lovely having you here. I hope to see you back soon again. As always, if you are watching us from YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you are viewing us from Facebook or LinkedIn, please like us and leave us a comment telling us what would you like to hear about in the Performance Cafe. We look forward to hearing from you and love seeing you sharing the videos on whatever platform you prefer. I look forward to seeing you at our next visit at the Performance Cafe.